Damon Jackson versus Ilia Topuria. Both of these guys have looked good. I watched Damon Jackson's fight. Let's start with him because he actually really impressed me. He kind of looks like the guy who shouldn't be winning as much as he does or look as good as he does. For some reason, he looks old and he kind of looks like he's past his prime, but really it seems like he's just doing well and getting better and better. I mean, he's only lost one fight in probably his last 10 fights, I assume. So of his last 8 fights, he's lost 1. Of his last 9 fights, he's lost 2, though. But throughout his career, he's only had 4 losses. And the guy has fought, and they're few and far between. So usually he'll win like 3 or 4 fights, and then he'll lose one. His last fight was against Mirsad Bektik, and he won via guillotine choke. And that was his first fight in the UFC. It was in a UFC fight night, and that was this year as well. And then he fought again, or he's fighting again now. This is going to be his second fight in the UFC, so he's still kind of fresh in the UFC, but he's fairly old. I mean, 32? So, not that he's on his way out, but he's either in his prime or starting to go past his prime, right? But the way he fights is pretty amazing. He often wins by submission. He looks for a submission in any position possible. So one of the things that I guess Ilya has to be aware of is making sure that this guy isn't able to get a submission. Because if he grabs your leg, he will look for it. If he grabs your arm, he's going to look for it. It's going to be a constant battle as far as a defensive issue for Topuria. I could see that being like the number one issue for Topuria, to be quite honest. Now, he might be able to defend against Topuria's jiu-jitsu. I think actually like that realm of things is actually closer than a lot of people maybe predict. Damon Jackson is pretty damn good, whether it be sort of standing. He does kind of bring a little bit of pressure, but he's very patient. He's very patient in the way that he moves in and moves forward. He does have a bit of a height and reach advantage as well, so he can make use of that through leg kicks and just throwing out the jabs as Topuria maybe tries to come in. Now, on the other side, Topuria is a good fighter himself, and he proved that to me when he had his most recent fight against Youssef Zalal, which, I was pretty high on Youssef Zalal. I think I bet Zalal in that fight and lost some cash. I was shocked at the win on that, but Topuria really showed his skills. He really showed what he was about. And to be quite honest, the funny thing about Zalal is the fight he had previous to that, I actually kind of got worried because I saw there were some holes in his game and some spots where he was definitely having issues. And I think Topuria realized that as well, came in with a solid game plan and got rid of him. And that's why here, I think Topuria is going to win. I think he comes in with a solid game plan. So when it comes down to even comparing the two, I think it's a close fight. But I think the one that's going to come in with the better game plan is the one that's going to win. He's got jiu-jitsu. He's got good wrestling. He obviously recently beat Youssef Zalal, which is huge. Unless Youssef Zalal was just hype. But, in my opinion, we saw his skill and he looked pretty damn good. But he does, once again, have the chance of being submitted. At the same time, he can be the one to submit. So he does have quick fights as well. I mean, if you look at his history, it's all like ending in round 1, round 2 victories. He's never lost, so that's another thing to consider. So for this fight, based on all those factors, I'm going with Topuria without a doubt.